Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. Here we are again, and now that I'm up here and we've cleared out the whole area, we should be good to at least experiment some of the stuff in here and find out what it is. I'm standing right here next to the ritual bowl, but we're going to go over here and try and read some of these books on here. We got a couple of things right here, so hold on. Pack ritual notes. Okay, just let me pull it into my inventory, and then read patron notes. Okay, pack magic research quarters 3 report. I refined the patron empowerment process, but I do not yet recommend it for widespread application. I have been unable to counteract the loss of magicka from the subject. This may be an acceptable outcome for the less magically gifted of the military branch, but I request further time to improve this process in an attempt to mitigate this loss. Taking advantage of and helping to direct the experimentation performed by the other individuals in the facility has yielded a number of viable Ada, unfortunately, while successful in their own right, the essence extraction experiments did not yield a viable source for patron attunement. The current iteration of the ritual is as follows. Take a ring of silver, the material for the magical properties, and the form for the symbolic ones. Embedded a garnet noted for spiritual enhancing properties. I no longer recommend the use of amethyst. Fill a vessel with several cc's of the subject's blood and enhance it with salt to weaken the ethereal skein. Place the ring in the vessel and heat using a magically enhanced flame. I utilize cold flame to impregnate the ring with the metaphysical signature of the subject. Obtain a token or fragment of matter containing a signature of the patron in question. Add the fragment to the vessel to connect the spiritual signatures of the subject and the patron within the ring. While wearing the ring, perform the spell to transpose the bond from the ring to the subject per instructions attached. The current list of viable patrons, ideal masters, they are perpetually open to dealing with mortals in exchange for souls. So this was an obvious outcome. The necromancers in the crypts have established a line of communication, and initial inquiries indicated they would be interested in performing such a transaction in exchange for souls. The ideal masters are notoriously treacherous, so this is included solely for the sake of completion. I do not recommend we utilize them. Okay, Mannimarco, the god of worms aspect of Mannimarco remains active despite the death of his mortal form. As an Altmer who achieved apotheosis, this is my official recommendation for propaganda purposes. If we utilize these findings, the elevation to godhood has not helped. The egocentrism he had in life, though I believe we could negotiate for the inclusion of the worm cult as part of the ruling structure in exchange for his cooperation on an isolated basis. He seems willing to act as a patron for promising necromancers. Okay, so that's like you could actually have something called the worm cult. So I could make actually characters as a worm cultist, and just like if you've been to the necromancer's home, there's a staff on there, the staff of worms. That's also part of necromancy. So you could look at that as a possible character build. But he recommends against the ideal masters, which makes me want to try them just the same. Hist. Despite our ongoing animosity with the Hist, I have found an isolated specimen within Skyrim. It does not appear to possess a standard phenotype for a hist, perhaps indicating divergent evolution as a result of disconnection from the overall network, potentially an offshoot of an umbrial hist. The hist retains the inherent metaphysical properties of its kind, but with a drastically reduced sapience without the network connection to the greater population. It should be possible to connect to it for species other than Argonian, and without a severe loss of free will. Attempts to grow bonsai hist from clippings have shown limited success as the clipping is failing to thrive in the soil. I have contracted botanists for soil enrichment advice attached, but will not implement them until the next generation for comparison. Magna Gee, this is another one of the patrons. The resident astromancer has been successfully directing naturally fallen meteoric debris to land in our area, and has assembled a fairly impressive attempt at ayleid well replication, using a combination of the array to lens the appropriate wavelengths in some raw meteoric glass to act as a transceiver. We should be able to possibly tap into the raw etheric energy of some of the lesser exiles. I personally attempted this, although oriented the lens in such a way to avoid contamination with Meridia's or Magnus energies, more complicated than originally anticipated. Unidentified Psijic, continuing to pursue the unknown method by which Psijic mystics are able to achieve transition to pure energy state, has not yielded any results, though we have managed to induce an anomaly. If we're allowed to connect with one, it is extremely hostile and opposes our goals. This specific individual will not be viable, but the process is promising. Agent Arcano attached the college's investigation report of a similar entity under the college who does not have Psijic connections that may prove useful. The Phantasmagorical. A number of individuals have been experimenting with hallucinogenic substances in an effort to access the dream sleeve. They appear to have been relatively successful with replicating the Dwemer results of dream sleeve transmission, though I am relatively certain the Dwemer did not resort to hallucinogenic substances. Unsatisfied with this, they immediately attempted to adapt their process as a means to enhance illusion magic. I believe the patron connection system could be tweaked to attune oneself to a collective subconsciously if sufficiently intoxicated. I have not found a willing volunteer to risk the side effects of a concentrated dose in order to confirm. I am forced to concede that for substance-addled Bretons, this was an incredibly serendipitous outcome. And that's what he has to say. So that's all in the book. So we keep the book. The other one, I believe, is a spell book. Pack Ritual Notes. All you have to do is click on it, and now we've got the new spell, Ritual Notes. Okay, I think things work once you get that, so. Okay, there's a garnet ring. Let's look down here. See if there's anything else. No, I've taken everything. Okay. Essence extraction results. The extraction final report. I was able to find 3 ready sources rich with aedric powers within Skyrim. By processing these sources in an instrument designed to standard specifications, I was able to produce that extract which could be consumed to attune an individual more specific Daedra. Nullifier was used as the adjuvant as per theory. However, I was forced to increase the concentration by 50%. I'm unsure if the initial calculations were incorrect, whether there is a subtle difference in Nullifier properties by distance from the tower, or whether the collective recent calamities across Tamriel have been negatively impacting the Nullifier health, as observed with prior times of crisis. Heartstones. There are consistently considerable fallout of volcanic rock from the vicinity of the heart chamber, infused with sufficient energies to be attuned to Lorcan. I immediately terminated the Nordic test subject upon completing the observation of the test. The results should be sealed from official record and retained as internal information only to preserve our mission. Okay, hold on 1 second. I gotta get a drink of water. That is daunting to read. Taproots, the results seen elsewhere in Tamriel were replicated here. The power of Yifri seems to be universal in composition and despite variation in presentation. Essence. This was an unexpectedly successful result. Following the historical developments of the pantheons for men, extracts from these manifestations to soon were evaluated for potential relationships with the aedric signature of Zenithar and Zen. And then, indeed, they were found to be similar, though more raw. This lends credence to the development and theory of Zen's reward through trial, as linked to societal developments from hunter-gatherer to agrarian to urbanished. These aspect isolations result in promisingly enough for me to recommend proceedings to Phase 2. Loric expression, I believe Skyrim would be suitable for population scale testing. I wait for approval for further work. Okay, that's all there is in that book. So I'm keeping all the books. Now I'm going to go through and look at these other things. Let me check the one book. I did add it, I believe. Yeah, the notes are there, but now I've got a spell, if I'm not mistaken. The spell should have, let's see here. Okay. I don't see a spell for ritual. Okay, maybe it's a power. Still should show up. Okay, make a pact. Okay, perform the ritual to adopt a patron. Okay, hold on 1 second. Yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns to this. That's what I was saying, is that this is something, that's why I was going to do it yesterday. I was like, okay, I need to stop and read this stuff. I think, and we'll check right here real quick. We'll see if we can do this. We can use that power and see what it is. Okay, please make a power. Now we'll check this ritual bowl and see what happens. Focus ring. Okay, I made a focus ring, so now I need, okay, to get favor with the fallen star, I need a favor from them. Okay, so I think what I have to do, and since this character's probably going to go with the ideal masters, but I'm going to have to wear the focus ring, I believe. I think it has to do with those other things here in the building. So I'll put on the focus ring. Now I'm going to go down to this other, there's a ritual, I don't know if you guys remember, there's like a ritual area. We're going to go check and see if that's the one that this works on. Because there's a couple things in here. Oh shoot. Sorry about that. I was trying to read my notes. I had some extra notes here that I made. I was trying to read those at the same time trying to walk. It did not work out good. Okay, this is not where I wanted to go. I think the one where I want to go is over here. Actually, let me close this up. Here you look, so you don't keep interrupting me. Trying to direct me there. I think it's pretty sure it's back here because you got a couple things like this cooking pot right here is one. That's the extraction set, so I need, and I'm gonna need to concentrate for Favour with the Phantasmagorical. Okay, this is the room that I was talking about. Okay, use anomaly. Okay, Nullifier Favour or just be concerned. So either one of those I can use as an anomaly. So we have to create one. So let's go ahead and do this one that I have. So I know this is kind of boring. Actually, I'm gonna do both just to see what happens. Do one of each. I didn't see anything. Now that is one that I can use right there. The other one I might need to get, but it tells you what you need for the favors. This one here, there's ways that you can craft here as well. But you can see the things that I'm going to need to craft this one. So we're going to go with what we have. I have something for Favour with that Nullifier. We'll see what that one kind of does. And then I'll look at the, I'm probably going to have to dissect this map and write down kind of what a build would be around this information. Because like I was saying, the Hist, I know that there's a Hist tree here in Skyrim that you can get to. Some of the stuff I know where it is, but they've kind of changed it in some ways. So we're going to check this once with the focus ring and the Nullifier to see what happens if we can apply a favor. Because it looks like those are the ones that are given with the with just finding this area at first. Okay, focus ring nullifier. Okay, so ready to make the pact. Okay, so I've got the focus ring nullifier added. Powers can be used once per day. Okay, I've got the focus ring. We'll wait and see what happens. I'm just kind of guessing around here, you know, because I'd have to go and find out. I'm probably going to have to make a list of what things I can make at each little station here. Okay, so now I got the foot nullifier ring on. Go back to my notes. Make your notes. So I got a nullifier ring. I'm looking to see what the nullified artifact gives me. Yeah, I might have to make some notes on this, because the notes I have in the game don't really do me justice. Oh, wait a minute, hold on, this is it. This is doing my boots club thing. I got the ring on. Okay, maybe I need to do it in the other area. Basically, with that power. Okay, science and purchase servers of Daedra's form. Sever a Daedra's form from their animus. Okay, warped auras absorb spells. So I've done one, but it was for the nullified one. So I think there you have it. I don't think I can do anything different. Because we get into the warped aura. Purge Daedra. new. I don't remember seeing that before. So I am going to need to make notes and then builds based on the information that I do have. And also I've got to kind of plan out what his role is in the thing. So I haven't really given you guys anything. I haven't fought anybody, so I'm not going to cheese you guys out by not fighting anybody, but it just may be a band of bandits. I just want to go try something here real quick down in this chamber. Here. I'm going to have to do some notes to kind of figure this out, but in the interim, we're going to go out and fight somebody and sell some of this stuff off. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to go back up and make a potion. I think I can make potions in that wine. It's kind of interesting, though. I want to really, when you start off, you really don't know, but now it makes me want to figure out, do I make a Hist character, or do any of you guys that does that? Or, ideal masters, how do I make that? So I'm trying to think around, which ones I want to do and maybe make a build based on those. I'm going to make this potion first, and then I'll go write down the steps that I can figure off of this character, get in the books now, and see what I can figure out about how to create or make things based on these workstations. Okay, I need nerve root. To make any of those. Shoot, sorry about that. So I need nerve root for those, so I can't do anything with those right now. So you can't do anything. I'm going to go out and actually I got to start searching around, look up where some nerve root is, and some of these things, gather the ingredients to be able to do stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. Right now we're going to start off though. Where I put my horse at? I have no idea.
Still here. What do you want me to carry?
what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to go down here and clear this one. So basically I didn't give you a completely boring video. Clear this one Fort Greymore down here. At least you see some fighting before you finish, and then we'll go ahead and close for today. And then I'll be back with this character probably tomorrow, maybe later, depending on how my day goes. But it's a it's a holiday and Independence Day, so we'll see how that goes. What else, other things I gotta do. But first we're gonna go clear out Fort Greymore, at least the top portion. You might have some railroad on him. I'll just finish with this guy right here. Getting everyone. Maybe things on though. Yeah, some of these diggers you really have to stop and sit down and write out a plan of how you're going to attack each one. And that's why doing these is these individual builds, so you're kind of like seeing, you know, not just the process of, yeah, this is here, it exists. You know, we know that it's done deal, it already happened, it's in game. Now is how can you capitalize on it as a character? What's going to be the advantages, disadvantages? See where these guys are. those are the ones I can shoot at. Like I said, we'll do this portion right here. There we go. So, sort of late. Yeah, this tap with a bunch of arrows, man. Look at that. They got a bunch of hits there at first. Like, ah. Okay. So there we have it. Taking out the top portion of this fort, and I'm going to go around and collect as much needed ingredients. I'm going to make a list and come back to probably tomorrow and let you guys know more about how to do this, because like I said, I'm kind of learning and making the build as I go. It's also going to involve me making other characters, because like I said, there's like 7 patrons, so I'm going to try and make a character for each one, so I've got a kind of clear understanding of how to make it one for each one. So I'll keep doing this, and you guys keep watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe out here.